Hello and welcome to Chip Advisor. Yes, hello, my name's Phil, and this week we are talking about popcorn, which is very exciting. And we're talking about popcorn because, well, actually, I'll introduce people first, and then let people know why. I'm here with Lewis. How are you, Lewis?
Yeah, I'm good, Phil. I'm very excited. I think there's going to be 4 of us on this episode, and we've not had 4 people for a long time.
I know. One of them isn't here. Mike will be here at some point in about 5 minutes, I'm guessing. But the listeners are shouting,
Harry, where's Harry? Harry!
Hello.
"Hello, Harry." I was shouting that yesterday at the football when
Yeah,
I had your ticket to give to you. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Very
true. That's true. And you turned up in a bandana, and I thought, well, I'm not standing next to you for 90 minutes.
It was quickly removed.
It was. I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Yeah, I did. Well, at said football, we did partake in some Bovril, didn't we? And I woke up about 3 o'clock this morning with the worst indigestion I've ever had, and I've eaten a lot of takeaway kebabs, as we've discussed previously. But yeah, this was absolutely dreadful, and I don't know whether it was the Bovril or the cheeseburger. But anyway, it was raging. It was 3 a.m.
I did enjoy the message on our podcast thread. I think at one point, one evening last weekend, from Phil saying it's 8:45 p.m. and I'm in bed with a Horlicks.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I went wild the other day and had Horlicks with some marshmallows on. That doesn't work. Don't do it. It's sickly enough as it is.
yeah.
But yeah, nothing wrong with an early night and a Horlicks. That's what I say. So we are talking about popcorn. Any guesses why we might be talking about popcorn, gents? Apart from the fact that I said, "Shall we talk about popcorn?"
That is as much thought as I've given it. You're our leader, Phil, and you told us we were doing popcorn, so we're doing popcorn.
Do as you're told. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Harry?
know. I didn't think there was a reason. Now I've got to think. Is it because you're a big fan of the Barbie movie and you've seen it 4 times?
No, I haven't seen it once yet. I
Oh,
haven't seen it
fair enough.
once. But no, it's a good guess. Good guess. But I'll tell you what it is. It's because this month, sadly, Netflix are stopping their DVD service. It's 2023, and who knew they still did that? Do you remember Blockbuster? And we used to go down Blockbuster, peruse the films, and then we'd be then Netflix took over, didn't they? Mail order delivery in Blockbuster. Netflix actually went to Blockbuster. Hang on a second, I'll tell you what happened with Netflix and Blockbuster because Mike has arrived. How are you, Mike?
Hello there. What happened with Netflix and Blockbuster?
Well, what happened is Netflix went to Blockbuster when Blockbuster was still getting. I mean, in a year where Blockbuster got over $500 million in just late fees, so they were still flying. Netflix went to them with a proposal that they could sort of handle their mail order DVDs, and Blockbuster said that's never going to take off. This internet's a fad, not going to happen. Anyway, that didn't go too well as a decision. And so about 25 years ago, that was Netflix started doing DVDs in the post, and they're stopping them this month. So,
was that Love Film? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
that
I do
was
remember
the
Love
DVD.
Film.
Was that the competitor?
I think it was a competitor, wasn't it?
Or maybe Netflix bought Love Film. I thought, and I've got no reason, or factor basis on that, Netflix sort of evolved out of Love Film. But I know I've got that wrong. Listeners could write in to tell us, but I don't know why I've sort of pulled that out of my mind palace. But there we are. It probably is wrong. Most of the things I say are wrong. But yeah.
I would love to enter your mind palace one day. That would be exciting. It's a sentence I never.
It's a Sherlock Holmes reference.
Is it?
He had a mind palace that he would delve into.
Sherlock Holmes, the subject of many a film, which people watch with popcorn.
Good.
people watch with popcorn. Getting back round to that. Does anyone know the history of popcorn? Anyone know any history of popcorn? Indeed.
Well, if you've done the research, it will have been created 5,000 years ago when some early man put some maize in a fire and it all exploded.
Well, you're warm. 4,700 years ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Next
In Peru.
Yeah.
They found
not Egypt this time.
no, not Egypt.
I normally wait for an Egyptian reference from you, Phil.
Yeah, no, this is actually now. I think you're wrong there because it's ancient Greece. I'm interested in, but that's fine. But a lot of people wrongly assume the Egyptians had something to do with popcorn, but actually it was South America and Peru and Mexico and places like that were big on popcorn early doors, to the point where the myth, the Aztec myth. Do you want to hear an Aztec myth?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I always find myths quite boring.
Well, I'll give it to you, and then I can edit it out.
In the interest of content, please do tell us it.
I just said, hold on. You've got a bowl there and a knife and fork. Now, bowls to me indicates soup, neither of which you eat with a knife and fork.
Well, I don't eat soup because I'm neither. I don't eat soup because I'm neither homeless or poorly at the moment.
Okay, right, good, great.
Always, always seem to be on the prefaces of both those things, but currently neither. I am eating. It's an old favourite. The cheese and onion pasty salad.
Come again?
Okay, right now.
Yeah, well, it's basically. I bought a Caesar salad kit. Instead of chicken, I put a cheese on your pasty on top.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I even referenced it. Carry on with the popcorn, Phil.
It's really good. It's really good. You got the Caesar sauce. You got the Parmesan flakes there, the Parmesan flakes, all mixed in with the pasty. It's lovely.
Oh,
is the pasty?
I recommend it.
Chopped up? Is the pasty hot?
The pasty is hot. I'm chopping it up as I go.
So it's cooking the lettuce.
Sweaty lettuce.
No,
yeah, in a way.
No. Oh dear.
What about when you have lettuce in a kebab? That's a bit cooked.
Yeah, but I mean that's a very small proportion of the kebab, and you can scrape it off.
Okay. Yeah.
Go for the slaw. The slaw, as we have to say these days.
Oh, the slaw. Well, look, sorry lads. Back to your myth, Bill.
Back to Aztecs. Well, back to Aztecs. Because for Aztecs, corn was vital for their survival. And the myth goes that they discovered it because they could see that there was corn growing on the other side of a big mountain. They were unable to get to the other side of a big mountain. So one of their gods, Quetzalcoatl, and
so I'm putting my hand up to ask a question.
I can't see because I'm reading. Sorry, Harry.
Okay.
If you could ding,
so sorry,
if you could put a buzzer in or something.
Oh, okay. Ding dong.
Yeah.
How did they see over the mountain, but weren't able to get over the mountain?
Listen, I think they could probably see through a couple of gaps or something.
Okay, right, fine.
In the mountain.
Yeah.
Yep. The inaccessible
Doesn't
gaps.
sound very structurally sound. This mountain.
No. Well, maybe it was really tall corn.
And how big would this? How long would that hole have to be if you'd have been able to see through it?
I mean, you're asking the wrong man. I wasn't there.
I'm myth busting here.
Yeah, no,
already.
That's fine. What I hadn't considered is that the corn might have been, because it had been not picked for so long, it might have grown taller than a very big mountain. They might have just been able to see the ears of corn poking up over the top.
I mean, you've got two problems there. One, this is
over the gardener's corner.
Yeah.
I won't drown Harry out this week.
Yeah. We're just going to listen to the music, and then you can stop it, and then I can speak, because I cannot battle against the trumpet that's coming any moment.
So, listeners of last week's episode on Mushy Peas, the main aim wasn't to drown Harry out and make him shout over it, but it did appear that was the whole podcast.
Yeah. So In fact, I think probably I actually said the references last time that sweet corn or corn, maize as they call it in
Maize.
the US, is actually a type of grass, and a grass
Yes.
only grows to a certain height. I mean,
Maybe.
different heights depending on the variety of grass. So you can't leave a grass to grow and it will grow forever. You're thinking of Jack and the Beanstalk, which is a
Maybe.
pantomime.
Which is another myth involving magic
Another
beans.
myth. Harry, are there any plants, Harry, that would continue to grow to the sky if we let them?
No, because it's your old friend gravity. They get too heavy. I mean, things will grow up sort of, and amount by themselves, but that after about 4 foot, gravity is going to take over. Really.
If I had a bean pole that stretched from here up to the moon and was like rigged to the moon somehow,
yeah,
would
that would
there
cause
be a
all
plant?
sorts of problems with orbit.
Yeah.
Granted, but were I to enable that to happen, would there be a plant that could climb all the way up to the moon?
Bindweed.
Yeah, well, bindweed, but I mean, bindweed. I mean, again, I'm going to make this up. Grows about, well, I don't know, 6 foot a year. So it's going to take quite a long time. B, in the root, it's going to be winter at some point, so it's just going to die. So theoretically, yes, if the climatic conditions were correct, you could, and you had a beanpole that went to the moon, it could actually go right the way up to the moon.
Is there somewhere on planet Earth that would be climatically correct for that to be happening?
What about Peru?
It could be. I mean, I'm
just wondering. Actually, maybe we don't need to go vertical. We could just go horizontal.
Well, yeah. I mean, plants will grow horizontally.
Logistically, that'd be easier.
A longer way. Yeah. But
they need to be able to see the sun. Don't they grow towards the sun?
Well, they do, and sunflowers. Sorry to get off the point slightly. Actually, turn.
We should anchor the beanpole to the sun then. It'd be quicker.
It would burn then, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. A sunflower head will follow the sun as it moves across the sky. That's an interesting fact for you. I don't actually remember how we got onto this, so I'm not quite sure how to.
It was Phil's boring myth.
Yeah,
it was Phil's boring myth.
Well, I'm just telling you. So it gets if you're struggling with that section of the myth, prepare yourself.
Okay.
So anyway, they couldn't get to the other side of the mountain. So one of their gods, Quetzalcoatl, transformed himself into an ant and walked to the other side of the mountain and came back carrying a bit of corn, which they then planted and were able to cultivate.
Seems like a strange decision to choose an ant.
Well, I suppose it. Yeah. Again,
because that's putting a lot of work into. That's a longer journey. Well,
I think it's fair to say, Lewis. I think it's fair to say your God had a bit more sense about him to turn it into a human.
Well,
Crikey, this got serious all of a sudden.
It really did. I mean, the thought of it being my God as well makes me slightly uncomfortable.
Well, I won't say our God, but I didn't want to be the royal our God. You know, and I didn't want to speak. You know, right. We've heard on previous podcasts about the fact that Harry has, you know, sort of fallen away from church life.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make it a royal our God. So I just went with your God because you're a vicar. Oh. What does that denote, Phil?
Was that just to stop this conversation?
Yeah,
we're moving on.
Yeah. Putting the Cypriot national anthem on, I find generally just stops any
good.
So
you do get quite big ants though in South America. I remember a episode of MacGyver where he went to South America, not necessarily Peru, and someone that he was battling with his penknife and whatever else he just had that he seemed to be able to get out of any situation with, fell into a vat of enormous spiders and died. Not MacGyver, obviously, because he'd survived any peril. But so that was in South America. So the ants are probably bigger and thus could actually carry a bit of corn. So that part of your story, Phil, could actually be true.
There was in Herodotus's histories. He's a Greek historian. He said that he had heard of ants coming from Ethiopia that were the size of dogs. So perhaps maybe they used to just have really big ants.
Yeah, in the old days.
In the old days, and we've just got bored of that and stepped on them all.
Everything was bigger in the old days, like wagon wheels.
Wagon wheels, ants, exactly.
Yeah.
So, so prepare yourself for a bit of a dark twist to the Aztec take on corn, children. So, each year they would sow new crops of corn, and because corn's quite easy to grow, isn't it, Harry?
Yeah.
Quite easy to grow.
Or you can't grow it past a certain point because it gets poisonous, doesn't it? As we learnt.
Absolutely.
That's only baby corn, wasn't it?
For cats.
Only baby corn. Yes, yeah. So each year, because they were very much into this type of thing, when they sowed their new crops, they would cut themselves and drip blood over the new crops to enhance the crops, enhance the corn, and make it grow strong and healthy, or so they believed. Have you tried that technique in your gardening, Harry?
No, that would no.
No. Okay, fine.
No.
So the Aztecs even had a god of corn. They had like 200 gods, but one of their gods, Sentiotl, was the god of corn. And in autumn each year, they had a ceremony that was akin to a harvest festival, a bit like Lewis has probably been doing recently, but it's slightly different though. So people would gather at the harvest festival, and the Aztecs, not only did they eat popped corn, but they also wore it as necklaces. They used to make necklaces out of it and make lavish sort of arrangements with flowers and popped corn and stuff. It was very important to them. So the priest would stand at the front, and all the women and children were allowed at these ceremonies, and the priest would stand at the front near the statue of their god of autumn, whose name I didn't look up. Then the priest would call out one of the children who's wearing a popcorn necklace, and they would stand next to the statue, and then the priest would immediately cut off their head of the child, tip up the child, and pour the blood over the autumn god statue as a sign of thanks for their corn harvest. Then it gets slightly stranger still, in that husbands would get to nominate, if they wanted to, their wife to be also sacrificed at this ceremony. So and don't forget that in those days it was a very prestigious thing to be sacrificed. These days, if a husband nominated their wife to be sacrificed, it'd be a slightly different ball game. But he would then also cut off her head, and then take off the skin from her face and put on her face, and that would be the end.
Like a bit like in Three Men and a Little Lady at the end when he's a vicar.
I'm not sure.
Ted Danson. It was more of a reversal of that, but it was Ted Danson, and he had a lovely skin mask, a bit like in Mrs. Doubtfire, I suppose.
Yeah,
and he was pretending to be the vicar when actually the vicar wasn't there, and so it was a faux marriage.
Oh, I see.
Very good scene.
Yeah. So a bit like
scene.
that, and then they would just go about their year like normal until the next autumnal ceremony. So it is slightly different to the standard harvest festival of 2023.
Harvest festival in Turnworth this coming Sunday. Our farming community.
Quick plug.
Come along and see if there's any similarities to the ancient Aztec.
Do not wear popcorn necklaces. You are vulnerable.
What is the go-to now item whenever I go to a car boot sale now? The go-tos used to be a foot spa. Now it's a dance mat. But what are the go-tos? Oh yeah, dance mats, mate. 10 a penny at a car boot sale. 10 a penny. For you, Lewis, what is the go-to that people are forever? Is it spaghetti hoops?
Well, it's very much beans and bags of pasta, and the church decorated with pumpkins, marrows, and gourds. Seem to be the
I'll tell you what's rubbish.
Okay.
Marrows.
Oh, absolutely. They're just for decoration, aren't they?
Yeah. The only time anyone has a marrow anywhere near them is when they're on display at a harvest festival. No one eats marrow.
Oh no! My brother, when we were growing up, my brother eats everything. I've never met a person who, well, Harry's pretty good at the amount he eats, and
Yeah.
okay, but
True story.
my brother's similar.
Thanks.
But the only thing in the world which he doesn't eat, I'm aware of, is marrow. So that does very much confirm your hypothesis that marrows are rubbish.
Yeah.
I've known you a long time, Lewis. I'm yet to meet your brother. I'm very keen to meet him.
Are you?
This is the brother. Well, I tell everybody this story. This is the brother who, when he goes to get his hair cut, immediately tells the barber upon entry to the barbers, just so you know, I don't really want to talk to you, but please do cut my hair. Thank you. Good day. And sits there in silence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think anybody who's got the bare face to do that, I'm all for. Yeah.
I was due to see him later on, but he's cat sick, so I can't go to see him because he had to go home from the Isle of Wight. So sad.
Oh dear.
Poor
I'm
cat.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Poor cat. Was that a joke? Was that a pun? It's got pause.
Unintentional. Very good.
No. Okay. Fine.
Right. Back to popcorn.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Harry had a question.
Oh, I did. I? Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I'm just sorry. I'm still on your brother, Lewis. Does he look exactly like you, but with a full head of hair? That's what I'm presuming. No.
No. He's probably got slightly more hair, but doesn't really look like me, I would say.
Huh.
When you say slightly more hair, enough to justify a haircut, or
well, because I shave mine myself. He's not going to be doing that. So.
He's not at that stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Harvest Festival. Any other Harvest Festival stories? I'll quickly throw in another one. We were growing up. We lived in a house that had a field behind us, farmer's field. And for a good few years, both my parents were out of work, and so for harvest, we used to go into the field and steal big chunks of sweet corn. It's a type of grass, you know, and and we used to take that to church as our gift. Stolen sweet corn.
And it was actually maize, wasn't it? It wasn't even like your nice sweet corn that you'd want to eat.
Yeah.
It was farming.
Yeah.
It was farming grade corn.
Looked good though, didn't it? Looked very impressive when we wandered in with bounds of sweet corn under both arms.
Oh,
good morning, everybody! Happy harvest!
And the farmer chasing you with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Well, that farmer was not a nice man.
Well,
was he not?
You'd be stealing his corn. I'm not surprised.
I once, unfortunately, we had a load of frog spawn in our pond that never spawned into a frog or multiple frogs. So it was in the pond, and I decided to get rid of it because I was helping Mum in the garden, and so I just put it in a bucket and just poured it over the fence into the field, which is doing no one any harm. No one. It was nowhere near his crops. So then the farmer clocks me doing it and is enraged. The next day, Mum's got her washing on the line, and he comes around with a muck spreader, even though he's not doing the field, and deliberately sprays all of Mum's washing with muck.
I do remember this.
Because I'd put some frog spawn over the fence. I mean, it seems, petty.
Yeah.
The escalating retaliation. It's a cycle of violence.
What? It's shouting, save the frogs as he did it, or how do you know the two things were connected?
Well, I clocked him with my eyes. I mean, so there used to be. So there's like 3 or 4 fields behind Mum's house, which they keep trying to build on. Hands off. And we used to go walk around his field into like 2 or 3 fields back. There was a abandoned gypsy caravan. Do you remember, Mike?
Did not remember the abandoned gypsy caravan, but I look
okay.
forward to hearing about it.
I've never heard an episode of The Archers, but I feel like possibly is this what it's like, Harry? I feel like you can tell me.
Yeah, I've listened to absolutely every episode of The Archers since I was born.
Yeah.
No, it's not what happens on The Archers.
Oh, okay, all right.
So there was an
Come on then,
abandoned
Phil.
gypsy
What
caravan,
happens?
and we used to just occasionally go and hang out there, and there was often like pools of frog spawn, so we used to collect that because we were cool, and then throw it over the fence. But there was an abandoned gypsy caravan, and once Kev, our other brother, got chased by a deer near the abandoned gypsy caravan. I remember he was terrified, because deer generally would just run away. You would have thought, but they chose to head for Kev. Anyway, so whenever we used to go towards the gypsy caravan, we had to. He didn't like us doing it, and he told us not to go anywhere near his fields. He was a grumpy, miserable man.
Did he do a proper get off my land? Did he do it in a farmer's voice? Did he?
Probably. But
Yeah.
we were scared of him. And when he clocked me putting this frog spawn over the fence, he was fuming. And that's he ended up throwing.
Was this before or after he
Popcorn was
sprayed
invented.
muck all over our garden?
Oh no, it was. I mean, he threw muck over our clothes the day after he clocked me putting frog spawn.
You know, but these impromptu trips to a gypsy caravan were they before or after he'd showered our garden in shit?
Oh, Michael, no. Oh, bleep. So that was. I mean, before we used to go there all the time, like in the summer holidays. It was a nice.
Oh, okay, it was before, because I would just, that for me would be an instant warning off. I'm not sure I'd risk him seeing you, clocking you, is the expression's been so far this podcast, and then jumping in his tractor and spraying you with the aforementioned as you ran back to the garden from said caravan.
I've never, and I want this on record, I've never been chased with a muck spreader. No,
Okay.
It was just that Mum's washing was plastered in manure. So,
I mean,
not great. Anyway, so popcorn.
Sorry, one more question. Why did you feel the need to get rid of the frog spawn in the first place? What harm was it doing?
It was going stagnant. They weren't.
What do you mean stagnant?
For whatever reason, the frog spawn wasn't developing into frogs.
Okay.
It was
How do
lifeless. Because but at that point, I felt like I was a bit of a frog spawn expert. We used to go and catch tadpoles and stuff. I knew the life cycle of a frog pretty well by about 8 years old.
Humble brag.
Humble brag. Hashtag humble brag. So yeah, I knew it. Just trust me, Harry. They weren't going to grow. I wasn't euthanizing them. They were already.
What harm were they doing there? Surely the fish could have just eaten them.
Well, I don't know if you want to encourage.
It'd be like bubble tea. Just be like bubble tea for them, wouldn't it?
It wasn't a trend back in the early 90s.
So I just need to go through this again.
Take a moment, Harry. Take a moment.
So the farmer who was randomly in his field watching the back of the Botto house at all times because he is super vigilant of these children stealing his crops, wandering across his fields. So he has got he sees you tipping over into the verge. There must have been a sort of grassy,
very grassy bank with some barbed wire.
Yeah. So you've tipped a natural product over the fence onto some grass and not touching his corn. He then gets his muck spreader and
overreaction.
Some sort of illegal act of firing manure at your mum and dad.
Yeah. You asked Mum. This happened.
Yeah, but
I'm going to phone her now.
Yeah, I mean, it is an incredible overreaction, and
this is farmers all over.
Phil, can you phone her now, please, Phil? My phone's dead. Can you phone her now, please?
Well, I've got a missed call from Mother, so I can.
Oh, perfect. Let's kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
Let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Hi, Philip.
Hello, Mum.
Text.
I'm just recording the podcast live.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it's hard to say. We're halfway through. We'll let the listeners be the judge of that. You're currently on it. Just a heads up.
You're not in the middle of recording it now.
Yeah.
No, yeah, come on, Mum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No.
I'll try and wait.
No, don't. Because Mike wanted me to phone you anyway. Are you there?
I can't hear very well. The phone line's very bad.
Oh, okay. Okay, can you hear me now? No. We'll never know, Mike. Are you at home?
Oh, God.
Hello?
You gonna ring her on the
Hello?
landline?
Are you at home? I can ring your landline.
Yeah.
I'll ring your landline. We'll ring her back. Hang on then.
I hope it's a problem at her end and not yours, Phil, because
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, it feels like it feels like no one believes this story when it's 100% true.
Okay. I can understand Harry's.
Hello, Mum. Hello
Yeah.
there.
Sorry, I'm not in the middle of the podcast, am I?
No, not if you don't want to be.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Well,
I was only really
Yes.
surprised that phone has charged me again and haven't refunded my compensation.
Okay, I'll speak to
for
Vodafone.
goodness sake.
I will speak to Vodafone. Mum, do you remember when I put frog spawn over the back fence and then the next day the farmer was angry and came with his muck spreader and threw manure at all your clothes?
I remember him filling the pond.
Oh, he filled in the pond. That was it.
What?
He filled in the pond with manure. That was it, wasn't it? Sorry, Mum, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you very well because I think there's probably a problem with my phone.
Oh, okay, no problem. But you remember him? You remember him being
With
angry about
what?
that
It's
and
the
filling in the
Vodafone.
pond?
I
Yeah.
remember him coming along with his digger or whatever it was and filling
Not
up
digger.
our pond with dirt.
Oh, he filled up our pond with dirt. Okay, yeah. But as retaliation,
He filled up the whole pond. We just dug it all out and filled it with water, and he came along and Dad had thrown some of the dirt onto the field because it was just dirt, and he came along. And
Oh,
filled the
hold
pond.
on.
oh, that was a different situation. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, Mum. I better go because I'm mid pod. But
Okay.
I'll speak to Vodafone later.
Does she remember the manure incident, or is that a complete figment of
Okay.
your imagination?
All right, no problem, Mum. Always good to chat. Cheers, bye. So, if anything,
Well, it was a tale of retribution of sorts.
I mean,
It was a tale of retribution, Phil.
It's absolutely nothing to do with you, Phil, at all. It was your dad that pumped the soil into the field, so the farmer gave it back. I mean, that's just...
He killed all the fish. I do remember now. He did kill all the fish. He literally filled in the pond with dirt. Because Dad had dug out the pond and
dumped it in his field.
dumped it.
I'd be annoyed.
We've got full
surely-
circuit here. The sympathy we've now got with the farmer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Are you sure what he didn't do, Phil, was get the tadpoles and the frog spawn and throw it at the washing?
No, 100%. 100%. He definitely came back with his muck spreader the next day and sprayed the washing. Because
Can
Mum
someone get
got
Kev
angry
on the
at me.
phone?
Yeah.
Mum got angry at me.
I want to check the deer story now. I think Phil's just sort of hallucinating and
There
making
is
up
no,
stories.
there is no field behind your house.
Right. I don't want to have to do this. I'm phoning
Dino
Kevin.
corn
I'm phoning
digging
Kevin,
in the-
and Kev will confirm he got chased by a deer by the gypsy caravan.
Phil,
Right.
Phil, we grew up in a flat.
The centre of Bournemouth. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's a podcast all about myths today.
He will not answer.
Yeah, he's not answering.
This is the Vodafone voicemail.
Oh, we don't need Vodafone
Don't
again.
trust Vodafone.
Oh,
Compensation. No wonder
Vodafone,
she's
good one, Harry.
No wonder she's getting compensation if it doesn't work.
Well,
so
Anyway,
so like I was saying, popcorn.
the Aztecs. Yeah, that was it.
The Aztecs. This was your fault, Mike, because we were talking about harvest festivals, and you
Yes.
went into talking about the field.
Yeah.
sorry.
Once I went into that field to steal some corn,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a snake was also
Oh, really?
on the corn I was holding.
And in the next field, Theresa May was running through it, jubilant.
The farmer put that snake there, Phil.
Genuinely,
He put it there.
I then ran and tripped into some stinging nettles on the bird. It really hurt.
Oh, I mean, far be it from me to say, but people have tuned in to hear about popcorn, and this has turned into the most bizarre 3/4 of an hour of my life.
I really
I
want to get
wonder
hold
if
of
the farmer's changed hands. I'd really like to give the farmer right of reply.
Kev's phoning me.
Oh, Kev, okay, here we go.
Oh, right.
Hey, Kev, you okay?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, sorry. It's just I was halfway through recording the podcasts that we do, and I was referencing the field behind our house where there was an old gypsy caravan, and you remember that field?
Yeah.
Yep, good. And
Well, it's like a forest or more a field, but yeah, okay.
yep.
Was it? I don't know.
Now you got chased by a deer there, right?
Did I? I mean, these are memories that I've
Oh,
being involved. I mean, I don't know if I got chased by a deer. That might be a bit dramatic.
Did a deer kick you?
No, I don't remember that.
So you don't remember any incident with a deer?
Well, not really, no.
Not
Maybe you need to speak to people.
it's all fabrication.
Peter Candy. Maybe I'll speak to Peter Candy. Maybe. Okay. Do you remember the farmer throwing muck all over our clothes? You do?
Over our pond, yeah.
Oh, over our pond.
He's filled in the pond and emptied out the mud from the pond into the back of the field, which was ploughed, so, you know, who cares? And then he came along and emptied it back in after it had been filled with fish and water.
Okay, so you remember that, but you don't remember him, like, because he definitely threw muck at Mum's clothes once. I'm sure I remember that.
I don't know about that.
God. Maybe you'd moved out. Maybe you'd moved out.
Possibly.
But why was I playing with Frogspawn when you'd moved out? I'd be quite old.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. It's good to tell.
Okay, but the character of the farmer wasn't a friendly one, correct?
Oh yeah, no, Mr. Hussey, not friendly.
Don't name him.
Oh, Mr. Hussey. Name check.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Kev. I'm sorry about phoning you for that.
no.
It's just people thought I was wrong.
Oh right,
You
yeah,
were
well,
wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you don't remember being chased by a deer.
No, I don't
But
remember that.
you do remember the caravan.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe because it was traumatic, your brain has got rid of the memory.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
the
perfectly possible.
thousands of pounds worth of
There we
therapy.
go. Okay, cool. All right, thanks,
Okay.
Kev. All
Thank
right.
you, Phil.
Cheers.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So what you
So,
said
to be clear, what we have established was there was a caravan in a field.
Well, hang on, was it a field?
it was
Oh,
actually,
yes.
it was actually a small wood, and the deer didn't chase him; it just gave him a hard stare. I mean, this is, you know,
Yeah.
are you
Well-
sure that popcorn doesn't originate from ancient Egypt? Because everything else that you've
Yeah.
said is all rubbish.
I'm not sure that anything's real, if I'm honest. This may be a weird, trippy dream I'm having right now.
Could be.
All of us, mate.
So popcorn, popcorn. I was told last night, and this is going to seem disappointing as a bundle of facts. Now we've had 20 minutes talking about Mr. Hussey's field. I think he's died actually.
Right.
I'm going to find out
I think
because
he
I'd like
died.
to give him the right. I'd like to give him the right of reply.
I think his son is in charge of the field now, which is why he just wants to sell it off so they can build houses.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just word on the street. So I was told last night there's an animal called a binturong, which smells of buttered popcorn. And I've looked it up, and it is a very ugly animal. Feel free to look along with me.
Does it look like? Does it look like popcorn?
No, It looks like a cross between I don't know, a bear, a cat, and a skunk. Oh, it's also known as a bear cat. But they smell of buttered popcorn.
Oh, I don't like its eyes.
No, well, it might just
Oh
be the
no,
camera.
I don't like the look of this at all.
Yeah.
No, it looks very sinister.
Very sinister.
I think I'll just get an air freshener.
So I don't know about you. My earliest memory of popcorn was at a church fete. Church fete, and we can all go round our earliest memories of popcorn if that's what the listeners want.
Oh, good grief! Okay.
It was at a church fete, and they were serving popcorn, but they had loads of different sauces you could put on top of it.
Oh yeah.
Now, there was a caramel, there was an apple, and there was a chocolate. And
apple.
Yep. You don't forget that this was in a vicarage that was effectively an orchard.
Okay.
So yes, they had an apple sauce. And I still, to this day, whenever I make popcorn, I make a caramel sauce that I use as a dipping sauce. It's the only way I like popcorn. Only way I like it. Do you like?
Is that yeah? Is the truth of it you just like caramel and you don't like popcorn?
I mean, I'm sorry, Harry, to say this, but the popcorn is a vehicle for the caramel.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I won't eat soup unless I've got bread because I don't really like soup, but I really like bread.
And you have a house.
And I have a house, and I'm not, as far as I'm aware at this stage, unwell.
Well.
So awkward silence. Okay. do you guys know something I don't? That was eerily quiet there at that moment.
Turn the colour up on your screen. You're looking a bit washed out on there.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So popcorn. Then there's a song called Popcorn. Which do you know it? This is a Crazy Frog version coming up. You know the song?
No.
Oh, here we go. You know this song, Lewis?
Yes, now I do recognise, although it is very much cutting in and out.
So yes. My apologies, it's very loud. So I asked you your favourite food songs. What were they, please? Harry, what was yours?
Oh, mine was Giggsy's Dinner by Oasis, because it has the most Mancunian pronunciation of an Italian dish you've ever heard.
Oh.
Okay. I'm trying to think of it. I do know it, but
have you not got it, Phil?
Well,
did you not ask us for these so you could play a clip?
Listen, what you've got to understand is I wasn't planning on 25 minutes about fields. But yeah, here we go. I'll skip it. This is it.
Cannot hear a thing.
What's happening now? Oh, there you go. Shall I play it?
This isn't working. This isn't working as audio. Just so you know, you get to fade these in over the top in your edit.
Well, I won't. We don't need the audio. I was just asking you a quick question. Mine, for what it's worth, was the Frosties advert, where they sing, "They're gonna taste great. They're gonna taste great." And then I realised only this morning that when I was listening to it back and showing the children, this is when adverts were good, that the next lyric is, "I can hear the sound of Frosties hitting my plate," which is nonsense because you wouldn't have Frosties on a plate, and now I don't like it.
Some would say that you wouldn't have a cheese and onion pasty salad in a bowl, but you know, not everyone lives by convention.
That's true. Lewis, what was yours?
Mine was Peaches by the Presidents of the United States of America.
That was on my short list.
Which has the genius lyric, "Peaches come from a can. They were put there by a man."
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Very, very Desiree, that.
Yes. Yeah. It's Route 1.
Route 1. Yeah.
Michael?
Mine was the reggae pop track of the late 90s, CJ Lewis's cover version of "Sweets for My Sweet," which includes the lyrics, "Sweetness, look how the gal them address. All the man them a say they impress. Niceness a hoe, the gal them aware. All the man them a see, you gone clear." So
lovely.
Yeah.
Not sure the pronunciation is exactly right there, but lovely.
Come on, tell me. That's what he used to do a lot of that, didn't he? Come on, tell me.
So,
CJ Lewis.
Is he from Yorkshire?
Come on, tell me. Sweeter for my sweeter.
Come on, tell me. Hey up.
A sweetness, I look how the girl them dress. All the man them say they impress. Niceness, how girl them wear. All the man them say you gone clear.
Has anyone seen the program with the Yorkshire farmer woman, Yorkshire shepherdess or whatever? And she, her and her family.
Harry will have done.
Yeah, her and her family.
I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah, well, she's called
Owens.
something. Owens, yeah, something Owens.
Something
yeah,
Owens.
Amanda
Owens, and her husband recently separated, Clive.
So Clive.
Yeah.
Mike, you sound like him. You sound just like
Clive. What, when I'm doing CJ Lewis?
When you're singing reggae, you sound like Clive.
Love all the girl them, love all the girl them, love them all. Really?
Yeah, really, just like him.
Come on, tell me.
And also, actually, Clive, in some series has got grey hair, and then some series mysteriously it goes all dark again. So that's a bit like Mike too.
Very similar. Very similar.
I always keep the side panels absolutely au naturel. I just occasionally offer a little of hair makeup to the fringe.
Okay, good.
Oh, golly. So we've got some questions about popcorn.
Yes.
So Mickey says, salted popcorn is so much better than sweet. Do you agree?
Disgusting. No.
He adds butter to make it, in his words, incredible.
Vicky does.
Mickey, as in, hey.
Oh, Mickey, as you were. Yeah. I hate savoury popcorn.
All savouries, like cheese.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
It's my favourite.
All of it.
I'd rather have salted than sweet, got to tell you. Yeah. But then I'd rather eat crisps than anything else in the whole world. So, yeah, I'm much more savoury.
Lewis, you a salted popcorn or a sweet popcorn?
If there was a choice, I'd go for a mixed. But if I could only choose one, if I could only choose one,
I would go
Lewis.
I would go to England, honestly.
I mean, actually, mate, we are trained to keep the peace. I would go toffee. Would be my
toffee. Come on.
Oh, well, that leads us into the next question. Lovely work, Lewis. James, how come Butterkiss popcorn pieces are near spherical and uniform, but if you make popcorn at home, the pieces are irregular in size and shape?
Does the weight of the toffee sauce sort of condense down what was a less than uniform piece of popcorn? I don't know. I'm making it up.
I think it must melt like the weaker bits of the kernel that have popped out. And then also, like, it must go through like drums, which must get rid of all the edges, surely. Harry, you used to
I think. I mean, they would just be. They can't be. I mean, they can't have a process where they shave bits off the popcorn to make it spherical. So they presumably.
Surely there'll be some kind of tumble in the process.
Well, what will happen?
It'll be tumbled.
What will happen is there'll be a big popcorn factory somewhere, and they'll all make it, and then the ones that go through the ring, like a bit like cricket when they try and change the ball and they push it through the ring.
Yeah,
that is the premium popcorn, and that gets all shipped off to Butterkiss or whatever other popcorn brands there are. All the rest of it, all the misshaped, all your wobbly fruit, as it were, all get into the own brands. That's what I reckon.
Okay.
Just make that up, but it sounds plausible.
It sounds the old bag of wonky veg. Yeah,
the old wonky veg. Yeah. So it tastes exactly the same, but it's just a bit
broken biscuits.
Bit like broken biscuits. Yeah.
There was a period of time where people were paying more for broken biscuits than they were real biscuits. For sure. That was definitely happening. It was very on trend to buy broken biscuits for a while there, and people were paying more for that than the actual proper finished product.
Well, you're doing a bit for the environment, aren't you?
There's a pulp lyric which I could have chosen for the food song, which says something about raised on a diet of broken biscuits. So perhaps it was Britpop that did it.
Maybe that was it. Jarvis Cocker has a lot to answer for.
Yeah. Brit popcorn, as it were.
Oh, that's lovely.
Very strong.
Lovely
Thank
work.
you.
That is
Thank you.
lovely. A question I either can't read properly or don't understand from Jackie. Why, oh, why do they only offer salted popcorn in both Iceland and Ireland? Is it because they sound the same?
Oh dear, Jackie.
Well, I can confirm I've done my research. You can definitely buy sweet popcorn in the supermarket Iceland, but I cannot confirm it about the country.
Oh, if it's the country Iceland, then Iceland salt everything because it's
True
pretty
story.
much the only thing they've got access to. So when I've been to Iceland a couple of times, the country, not the shop, and you can go to the shop. There's no problem. I'm not above Iceland. Anyway, in Iceland, I had salted licorice chewing gum, salted licorice yogurt. Everything's just salted. So that's why in Iceland, but it's easier to get salt than grow sugar in Iceland. That's my theory.
Also, they use it a lot to clear the roads. There's a lot of it hanging around.
What, you think they then just pick it up once the weather gets good?
No, I think maybe they probably buy more salt. They probably import more salt than anything else because they've got to clear the roads. They've got to grit the roads.
Okay.
And so they maybe like they've cut a deal with the popcorn factory and the government. We'll use 90% for the roads. You can have 10% for your popcorn and your yogurts.
They do
It's got to
tend
be
to
a
have
culinary
high-
grade, right?
Yeah, surely.
Oh, is it?
I
Is there a
what I-
culinary
use rock-
grade
you
salt?
use Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because they use rock
Well,
salt.
hold on. What's the difference between a table salt and rock salt? What's the difference other than it's just broken down a bit, isn't it? It's not made out of tables.
Oh, well, it's all the same stuff, but you just have to make sure it's hygienic. Do you want to
Yeah.
sprinkle a bit of sand in your salt? It's
Oh, that's disappointing. Oh, I thought it was. I didn't realise that salt had to be hygienic.
Oh, so what?
Well-
So sorry. When the gritter lorries come out in the winter, you just think they'd pour in, hundreds of those little round tubs of Saxa into the back of the van and then spreading it
Well, I
out.
sort of did, really. Yeah, I did. Well, I did. Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
Well,
gave you, if
that's
you were all,
why
Harry, if you were blindfolded and I
yes.
gave you a granule or little chunk of Himalayan rock salt, and then gave you a granule or chunk of just bog standard rock salt, do you think you'd taste the difference?
No.
No, nor do
Well, that's
I.
our Saturday night sorted right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that is, it could be. If you could, oh no, why is popcorn traditional at the cinema? Lewis, you're from London.
Okay, I'm trying to follow your link there.
Ready access to cinemas.
Oh right, okay, fine. I don't know. Why is it ready? I guess it's quite easy to make, isn't it? I suppose you have a machine. You can
it's cheap. Cheap as chips, guys.
I guess it comes out. It comes in quite small bags. The corn itself is quite small, and then you can pop it and make it something bigger. So you haven't got a lot of storage. I don't know. I'm making.
I
it up.
think it's our old friend America. I think back in the old days in Peru, and I think they grew maize rather than cereals that we grow corn in this country and Europe. They grew maize or sweet corn in America, and used that in terms of their bread and stuff. So they just popped it in American cinemas, and it's made its way over here.
That is correct. They actually used to use popcorn like we do breakfast cereal. So they used to serve it with milk and have that for breakfast in the morning, a bowl of popcorn, way before cornflakes, actually. And then when the first popcorn making machine was made in like the late 1800s in America, that it all just exploded in America, both the kernels and the craze, and that then led to when cinemas started showing films, popcorn was cheap for both the vendor and the customer. So they decided to stick with that, and that just caught on around the world. That is the truth of the matter.
Wow.
That is why. It's just because it was cheap.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that is the answer to that. If you could invent a new flavor of popcorn, what would it be?
Strawberry milkshake.
Oh,
I just
Lewis?
really like strawberry milkshake.
New one. I don't know about a new one, but you've put the idea of sort of apple sauce, apple flavour, one which I've never heard of, and the fact I live in a vicarage with an apple tree feels like something I should try.
It feels like you'd pair that with cinnamon with a popcorn, apple and cinnamon popcorn, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go
Very
But I'd like to just I'd like to just change my answer ever so slightly, tweak it. I'd like strawberry milkshake with white chocolate.
Okay, fine, Harry.
Thanks.
I don't know.
Great. What?
Don't know. I just don't know. Can't think.
Matt says, "Why is caramel corn the best?" Matt is American, so he didn't even say pop. Why is caramel corn the best?
Because it doesn't really taste of popcorn.
Yes, the caramel, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a vehicle. Claire, why is cinema popcorn $4.95 for a small, and then like $5.25 for a large? And is it illegal to smuggle your own popcorn into a cinema?
That's a very good question. Is it illegal? I don't think it is.
It's not illegal. It's just frowned upon, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. It's frowned upon.
I mean, that is coming from a woman that will, if she's at a hotel that's serving breakfast, will take sandwich bags and make lunch and dinner for the family from the breakfast bar. So she's big on this kind of stuff.
We should point out here that Claire is Mike's wife.
Our anonymous.
I'm assuming it's my wife.
Not some stalking situation here. It is my.
Sorry, sorry to if it is another Claire, then my apologies. I've kind of put something on there that might not be strictly true.
Was it your Claire who asked for some mayonnaise at an all-you-can-eat breakfast so she could make egg mayonnaise with her boiled eggs?
Oh,
that's correct. That happened just a few weeks ago. Yeah, the absolute nerve of it. Yeah, sat there mixing up egg mayo at breakfast with her sandwich bags. Unbelievable.
Fair enough.
Just think of the smell. Oh my days.
Oh. Yeah, well, I moved tables. It was both the smell and the shame of the whole situation, really.
Okay.
I need to go.
Yeah, okay, Lewis. Okay, mate.
We've got a bit too much.
But
that's the last straw.
Yeah, that's too much. I can't hear about any of these more criminal.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned birthday cakes. What?
Bye.
Bye. Sorry, Lewis. Have a good week. So the next question then. When popcorn pops, how far can it travel, and is there a world record? Mike, you should know.
Tell me you've done the research, Phil. Tell me you've done it. Do I know? No, I do. I mean, I hold some information up here in the old noggin, but that one hasn't stuck.
Mind Palace, please. Mind Palace.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the Mind Palace.
Oh, Mike, come on now.
Sorry.
Well, that's a shame.
4.6 meters, I guess.
Roughly, there we go. I'm happy to take that, and because you said it, Harry, I believe it.
Absolutely.
Do you prefer butterfly or mushroom popcorn kernels?
What now?
As in the shape when they burst, you get they open out a lot, or they open out a bit. So the mushroom is a bit.
Just a bit for me, please. Just a bit, please. Just a bit.
No, I quite like a lot. You know that makes the vehicle slightly bigger, doesn't it?
More surface area.
More surface area. I like when you get Tesco's own popcorn and you get the sugary one. Sometimes there is so much sugar on just random bits, and it's just like eating a sugar cube. Delicious. And and you've got to, it's quite a skill to work out which ones are actually covered in sugar.
It's like it's the equivalent of finding a really cheesy What's-It. Oh, yeah. Very exciting when I find really cheap. When you see one that is clearly bright orange, it's go time. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's a great comparison. Should popcorn be banned in cinemas for making too much noise and/or mess? Does it make a noise?
When you're rustling, maybe.
Yeah, rustling, and I think because you're in the quiet cinema, you think you're making more noise than you actually are. Probably the crunching of it.
Yeah.
we once took the last time we went to the cinema. I think we saw
Here we
Sing
go.
2 as a family, and my wife. Not to throw her under the bus. It's just I'm in enough trouble with farmers right now, so I don't want to anger the cinema brigade. So my wife took 4 plastic cups in her bag, and then we bought a cinema popcorn, so that's fine. We spent money there, and then she distributed it in cups in the rows.
Oh,
just
that's
before the
clever.
film
That's
started,
clever.
so there wasn't any rustling going on because we
Well,
all
I
had
like
our
that.
cups. So it's a
Yeah,
good way
or
of
arguing. Yeah.
yeah. So good. And she'd also like pre-filled the cups with a few sweets as well. So they were
Oh,
smuggling.
okay. Now it's got a little bit naughty. Okay.
Yeah, she'll do that. When I said this morning I was recording a podcast about popcorn. Has anyone got any questions to my children? My middle child said, and I would like the answers. Would you prefer to have a head that's an orange or a head that's a lemon? It doesn't seem
Okay.
related to
Feels
popcorn at
quite
all.
relevant to popcorn.
Yeah.
Harry?
Well, I mean, I think orange because it's more of a head shape. I mean, you're like you'd look like Donald Trump, wouldn't you? But I think your lemon. Sometimes in a lemon, you get that sort of pokey bit at the end, don't you? You're going to look stupid. So
Yeah.
I'd go orange.
I'd go orange. Much easier to shave as an orange than it would be a lemon.
Yeah.
All right. I would go lemon because my head is long. Sadly, I look more.
But would you quite like it not to be long?
Yeah, I don't.
Here's your chance. Here's your chance, Phil.
Why don't you change to an
Break
orange?
free.
It can be round.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, but I don't. I'm very anti the smell of an orange. So if the children ask me to peel their orange, I groan and moan for ages, and eventually Holly will do it for me because my wife.
Sure, but
I don't want the smell of orange on my fingers for the next.
That's fine, but unless you crack your head open, we haven't got a problem, have we?
True, but people are more likely to walk past and try and juice me. So
right, which sounds all levels of wrong. That feels like quite a good time for me to walk away from this podcast.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to at this.
Well, we've done all the questions.
Yeah, sure. I feel like that can be all the questions. It's very late.
Come on, quickly. Come on.
So, yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope you got all your popcorn farmer content that you needed. It's a shame.
Surely they did.
It's a shame that some of.
Just like to dedicate this show to Albert Hussey. May he rest in peace if he's dead. May his ponds be filled if he's not.
It wasn't his pond being filled, Michael. It was Mother's.
No, but I'd like it to be.
And her koi carp that were obliterated, suffocated under the weight of a digger full of dirt. Yeah.
Okay.
Sad times. Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.